Hi there, welcome back to my channel. Today we are doing a watercolor painting of a little raccoon, or trash pandas as I like to call them. I'm going to apologize in advance for this beginning section. My glasses kept getting the focus of the camera, and it does get better after I'm done with the raccoon's face, and I tried cutting out as much of it as I could. So if you guys have been with me for a while, you know that my goal was to have out one video a week, and that was like my New Year's resolution thing to get, something posted. And I wanted to try and get ahead in my art so that way I always had a video ready for if I couldn't do art that week or if I had something busy. Well, lo and behold, I have not done that. I have really had like creative block and haven't really had time to try and do more things in art to better myself. This is something that I want to try to get better at, is the watercolor. So I did a painting a few weeks ago, was not happy with it, but this one I ended up liking. But I still went in with colored pencils afterwards. Like, colored pencils are my savior when it comes to either coloring with markers or painting with watercolor. You can go over areas that you don't like really easily and make it look the way that you need it to. I'm hoping at some point that I'm comfortable enough with watercolor that I can just use the watercolor and not have to rely on the colored pencils to come in and put in the finer details. With the raccoon's body, I just picked a really bright blue and then mixed in some pure black. You can see that there's a little bit of a color difference between like the head and the chest and the body. That's because I had to remix because I did not mix enough. And soon enough, you'll see that I had to mix in a third time. And that's okay, because even with it being different colors, or I guess not different colors, different shades, I liked how it bloomed out, how they meshed in with each other. And then once I started adding like in the shadows and stuff, you really couldn't tell that they were all different shades because I didn't mix enough paint. And also, before I forget, the paints that I'm using are Paul Rubens, and the paper that I have is the Arteza cold press watercolor paper. It's a package that has multiple different colors in it, and this is the cream, so this is not a pure white paper. The technique that I'm using, I believe, is wet on dry. I wanted to get the crisper lines. I'm not really familiar with all of the watercolor lingo, but the paper is dry, and I am just using really watered down paint because I wanted the raccoon to stand out from the background. And then when I go in for the branch that he is on, I don't wet the paper before I put the pigment down, but I do use more water so that way I can mix in and get like a more blended together look on the log itself. And you will see me go back. The log I thought I made long enough because I was trying to fit this in a mat, and I thought I had it to where it cut off right at the raccoon's tail, but alas, I did not. So I added in another portion of the log near the end of this video so that way it fit right in the mat. It looked rather weird with it floating out of nowhere. So here is where I was adding in the extra water for the branch itself. And then I just went in with multiple different like browns and reds and reddish browns to kind of give it a texture feel. I also forgot to mention that I drew the raccoon on a separate sheet of paper and then used a pastel to transfer the image over. I didn't realize at that point that the watercolor would mix with it but not mix with it at the same time. So like you can see between his toes, like it was obviously repelling water. And on the back of the raccoon, it shows that it's bleeding into the actual color of the raccoon. So I don't know if I just didn't add enough water to get it to dissipate between the toes or not, but I end up fixing that later on. And also with the paintbrushes, you've seen me using a smaller one in the beginning. I ended up just deciding to use my bigger paintbrush. It has a really nice point on it, so I was able to get into the small areas. I just had to be a little bit more careful and a little bit more conscious of how much pressure I was adding in on the paintbrush itself. So I stuck with this for the remainder of the painting. And after painting this little guy, it really kind of unlock something, because I have not been inspired at all to paint, to draw, to color. So it's been rather difficult to push through. I don't want to call it art block. It's just been, I don't know what to call it, but that's probably what I'm experiencing is the art block. But I want to create something bigger with a raccoon. This was just a smaller, believe it was 5x7 piece, and I have these huge beautiful canvases that I have not been inspired to use at all. And painting is something that I want to get better at, because my home is with colored pencils, and so I want to branch out and get better at some other art supplies. So after doing this, I kind of want to break out, not my watercolors again, but possibly like my acrylics, and do a bigger painting of a raccoon, or maybe even a forest scene where I have multiple animals. It's not something that I don't think I've really ever done it, and I know that I haven't posted anything like that up on my channel. It's usually just one subject, a smaller painting, but I think I would like to do something larger. So if that's something you guys would want to see, let me know down below. And if I do, it'll be in a couple of parts. So it'll be the same painting and just, progress through it. Because if I'm going to do a huge painting, I want you guys to be a part of it. So maybe tell me down below, would you like to see like an actual whole forest scene with multiple foresty type animals, or would you just like to see one really detailed like raccoon or fox, or any kind of animal? I'm starting to get that little bit of spark back that I had at the beginning of the year with this drawing or painting, and I don't really know why this one is what sparked it. So I'm hoping to just kind of keep going with that momentum and figure out why I've been in this little bit of a slump that I had going on. I don't know if it's just been I haven't found something really that I've wanted to paint or to draw, or if it's just been, that time of year. It's been really rainy, really windy, really dreary outside, and where you expect that with like the winter time, not being able to go out and stuff. We've had a couple of like nice days right in a row, and it's like, wow, it feels so good to be outside, and then it just got taken from us again. It was like a false spring. Happens every year. You'd think we would be better about it, but no. So I don't know if that's what's causing me to like slow down and not want to do it, or not finding like that spark of, yes, this is what I want to do. But like I said, this little painting really sparked something in me. So let me know what you guys want to see. With that, I will see you guys near the end of this video. winding down this video, I wanted to let you guys know the colors that I used on the Raccoon besides the watercolor. So with the colored pencils, I used a cool gray, a warm gray, brown, and blue for the darker shadows. And then I went in with pure black to get the darkest of darks and add in a little bit more detail. And then I used white only on the eyes, and then to blend together the different colored grays that I had on the fur. I realized it changes the hue, but I really liked the way that it turned out because it looked like it gave it a little bit of shine to the fur itself. And then I went back over top of it with just a little bit more color to give it that texture. And then after I sign it, I give you a close-up look of the piece itself. So stick around for that, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.